I want to welcome everybody to hear Mr. Robert Luddy, who's going to receive today the Mises Institute's Award for Entrepreneurship. This is a new award that we've established this year that's going to go to a business leader who's shown forth his success as an entrepreneur and also his support of the sorts of ideas that undergird the free economy and enable entrepreneurship to take place. And we're going to start by a short talk by Dr. Mark Thornton about the importance of the entrepreneur. Mark, come on up.
Thank you, Lou. We are here to celebrate the entrepreneur, the most necessary and unsung hero of the market economy. I'd like to begin by noting that we're all acting entrepreneurial in our lives. We all make decisions which the future is going to affect, and that future is uncertain. So all of our decisions about the future have risk associated with it and certain types of profits and losses. So we can all kind of understand what the entrepreneur is about. But, of course, the burden on the entrepreneur is much greater than on most of us in society. When you think about it, the entrepreneur has to not only form a vision of the future, but also take on a lot of risk associated with that future. The entrepreneur has to make contracts, has to buy capital, has to hire labor, has to design products, and has to pay for all of this in advance. Labor has to be paid, capital has to be paid before any product is produced, before any product is sold, and before any revenue actually is accrued. So it's a tremendous burden on the entrepreneur in the economy. And also, it's very important to note how dependent we are on entrepreneurs for our standard of living. They are the ones that are producing products. They are the ones that are driving the cost of production lower. They are the ones that are inventing new products. And really, that is the system of the market economy, this web of thousands, millions of entrepreneurs out there acting in their own self-interest, but doing the bidding of consumers. So that we are tremendously dependent upon entrepreneurs for our standard of living, and in the absence of them, our standard of living would plummet. It's very important to understand that there's no alternative to this system. There's just no other way of doing things. We can't use socialism, we can't use communism because those things don't work. And that's, of course, one of the great contributions of Ludwig von Mises is that those means of allocating resources simply don't work. And we can think of other ways of allocating resources, but ultimately, if we work through them, we'll find that it's either socialism or socialism or communism on the one hand, or something that very much approaches entrepreneurship as we currently have it. So there's no alternative. And this is a point that Austrian economics tries to emphasize, and around which we build economic theory and our understanding of the market economy. Now, things, of course, are much different in the educational system. The entrepreneur simply isn't taught. Entrepreneurship and its role in society simply is ignored. I was an undergraduate business major, majoring in economics, and entrepreneurship was only mentioned on one page of one of my textbooks. Okay? That's how much entrepreneurship was discussed. As a matter of fact, it really wasn't discussed in class. There was just the phrase, the entrepreneur gets to keep all the profits. That's all the entrepreneur does, is keep profits. Even in graduate school, I had a professor who wrote a book on entrepreneurship, and that was basically it. The entrepreneur keeps all the profits. And, of course, we never discussed, new products, quality of product, advertising, things of that nature. It's after that one word on the entrepreneurship, everything else after that is the firm does this, and the firm does that. Nothing about entrepreneurship. I taught undergraduate principles, and one of the lectures is about the post office and the problem of monopoly. And 1 year after that lecture, a student came up to me and said that his management professor told him that the post office was the ideal form of business. And I was actually so shocked that I couldn't respond to the student. But when you think about it, in the management, academic mentality of things, the post office has a monopoly. They have a 100% market share. They can exploit their consumers without any disadvantage to themselves, and no one ever gets fired. Okay? It's the perfect realm for the management professor academic. And the key thing is there's no entrepreneur. There's no boss. And that's what is so important. We get the same bad treatment of the entrepreneur in the media, in Hollywood, in the justice system, and in government. They all treat the idea of entrepreneurship and the entrepreneur badly. The real story is that millions of people around the world start entrepreneurial adventures every year. Most of them fail. Okay, most of those people who risk all that they have, they fail. The ones that succeed, most of them have modest incomes, modest rewards, and modest benefits as a result. It's only a few star entrepreneurs that actually get to become multi-billionaires or multi-millionaires. The stars of entrepreneurs, and of course those ultimately become the villains as portrayed in these various other areas. But the same is true for any leader in an area, the best golfer in the world, the best actor in the world, the best baseball player in the world, all make extremely high rewards. That's the way the market works. And how do those stars in all of those various professions, but particularly the entrepreneur, how are they chosen? Was Sam Walton of Walmart, was he chosen by some congressional subcommittee? Was he chosen by the governor of Arkansas to become this wealthy, great entrepreneur who changed everybody's lives? No, Sam Walton was chosen by us, by people like us. Thousands of people, and then eventually millions of people, who decided that the best use of their money was to spend it at Walmart. So when we look around at these entrepreneurs who have done great things and who've gotten great rewards, it's we that have chosen them. And it's the mission of the Ludwig von Mises Institute to teach these lessons about entrepreneurs. If people don't understand them, if we lose that connection to entrepreneurship and try to change the system and eliminate the entrepreneur or harm the entrepreneur in a systematic way, we do so at our own harm and economic demise. Thank you very much.